Morning, folks. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a regular, if this is your first time here, I surely appreciate your support. We are here, guys, today building. We're starting project here, Central Kentucky. Kind of a neat segment coming through, a neat week ahead here coming through for the Built by Whitetail segments here. We are in, like I said, Central Kentucky, client property. We are putting in a week on a build here, and pretty good sized property, and we are getting the day kicked off here, starting not with buck bedding, right? We are starting with doe bedding. Come along with us, guys. Welcome to Central Kentucky. Welcome to Built by Whitetails. This is our first kind of multi-video series here on one singular property other than my own, other than the home farm. So come along with us, and we'll see what we can change and create here on this. The design's already done, but bring this beautiful property here to the surface here in Central Kentucky. So we're starting here, guys, on a doe bedding area here on one of his food plots. He's got stumps and everything piled up. He's actually got a little burn started in there today and doing some other burning on the property. As you can see, that's typical, big, beautiful oaks, big, nothing underneath, very few, if there's a dead ash or somewhere in here, something like that, that's where the habitat is. So we are removing, first step, right? We're going to remove the bigger trees first. I got it painted out, and the outline of it all laid in, and we're going to remove the canopy first. If you don't remove the bigger canopy first and you just go in and do the finesse work, like I've always said, it's going to kill, the shade's going to kill your hinge cuts, and then when you have to come in here and take these bigger ones out, you're going to crush them. One way or the other, them hinges are going to die if you do not remove the bigger trees first. So, that 14-16 inch stuff, we got to go through here and select what keep trees we're gonna label our keep trees. Any big white oak or a white oak that's good and straight, that looks like it's got a big crown, we're gonna leave those in. So maybe a half dozen of those, and this one here, this is a pretty good sized doe bedding. But other than that, we're removing the canopy, getting any of the, so the first step is removing the larger trees, getting the bigger canopy down. And then we're going to go in and we're going to look at our invasives. Any of the invasive in there, we'll be removing the invasives. Get some good canopy removed so we can get that good sunlight, and pocket it to the floor. Morning, folks. Welcome to the channel. Sorry about the wind. Yesterday we finished up part one. Nowhere near done with phase one, but part one of the doe bedding that we started here on the Central Kentucky farm, Washington County farm that we're building for a client. So I'm going to walk you through this, kind of give you an overview of what it looks like, and a few more things after the wind dies down that we have to do, but it's 95% complete. So let me walk out here and I'll just kind of give you an overview of what the first bedding area is, how the first bedding area turned out. Flip you around. So we started right here, guys. Crucial point here. Edge feathered the face of it here for that reason. The stand location, we have to bring them to the outside. So perfect example. You can see where he's got the fire going there. That's the plot, and we have to keep him secure on this already. This part of it is because there's a big washout down in here and a couple big old dead trees that we just decided to move, go out and around, which exposes them to the plot if we don't secure this. So edge feathering, all just invasive, no value to these trees here. You can see a couple more standing, a couple red oaks and stuff. We're going to cut them down after the wind dies down. So we removed the large trees that we could, and so we didn't make it crazy busy on the forest floor. Going in and double girdling and doing some hack and squirt as well, because there's some ash already on the ground, stuff like that. So anything large that you see in there is either double girdled or it's going to be it's going to be hacking, you know, have a hacking squirt done to it. So this here going through this is the spot that's going to be mulched out. He doesn't have this section mulched out yet, but mulch this right through here. All this nice seclusion, soft edge on this plot. So you can see now, guys, the hole that we created in the canopy here. And like I said, anything that is still standing is either, there's 2 or 3 really nice white oaks in here we're going to leave in, and the rest of this is hack and squirt so it doesn't get too busy on the bottom. But this is the look of this one. So this one's going to be pretty diverse. It's got some you know, structure on the ground, and it's going to have some nice white oaks and all secluded. This plot here, believe it or not, this plot actually has bedding on both sides because of the ridge and the stand locations on each side of it here. So we're going to jump to the other side of the plot and we're going to do some more. Day 2, that's a wrap here on the Central Kentucky build that we're on this week. A couple things here I wanted to point out. This being the southern sky down there, I think what a lot of folks make the mistake is if they have any log value up here on the front that's easy to reach in the future, no need to take it away now. We can reach out and get that later, you know, because it's not blocking the sun. These good maples that are going to be really good logs in, you know, 5-6 years from now, 10 years from now, no need to cut them because they're on the north side. But you can see all the bedding work that we did down below now release that canopy on the south side. So this one is complete. The doe bedding is complete on this one. Maybe a little edge feathering to do, but for the most part, all of the hinging, canopy release, everything is put together. Turned out really good. So on to the next step, still on the doe bedding. Morning, folks. Welcome to the build here in Central Kentucky. Overcast morning. We are going to be getting some rain here, so we're hoping it doesn't shut our week down. Time is money, right? And this time of the year we all want the rain, but when you're doing habitat projects, it's like, man, just if it could just hold off, right? Today, guys, so yesterday we finished up the doe bedding on the first plot. Today, this is day 3, and I wanted to show you something because I feel this piece of the puzzle is very important to a lot of folks, and this is a perfect spot to showcase it. So there is you can see the field behind us. It's got a really nice long linear food plot that runs parallel to this little road here, parallel, and then he's got destination ag behind it. We're actually clearing some more out with the dozer right now. So large destination, long linear plot that runs with this shelf. So out in front of me now is the plot. This shelf in here is all tapers away, right? Tapers away, all falls in, and you can see the other bank on that side. There's another food plot down in there, or off the end of that ridge. This one here that I wanted to show you guys is one, no need to take these trees down on the edge. This is he's got a lake and stuff out here that, you know, he entertains folks with, and there's no reason to take this security cover away here unless we were to, like we have in the past, you know, edge feather this, right? But because of the serenity of it, there's no need to do that. And why is that? So we're going to touch on this real quick. There's an AM stand at the end of this, and there's a AM stand at the head of this draw. All the thermals are raising, right? Thermals are coming out of the bottom up in. Now most folks, this is where most folks get themselves into trouble. They'd say, well, 2 things. This is a better PM because the does, you know, we can catch them does going out to the field. You're in front of the does, right? So I'm going to show you a perfect example. Thermals, you're never going to beat your thermals. Always remember that, guys. AM stand at one end, AM stand at the other. That one on that end of that, he can actually hunt that in the PM because it's right on a flat point out there. This one down here is definitely only an AM, and I'm going to show you why we did not take the trees off the face of this. So this is a let's see, this draw runs north and south. The food plot is to the east, destination is to the east. So he's going to be hunting this on a southwest wind AM sit up here at the head of this draw. Southwest. And the reason that we cut this in this way and we don't have to take these, you know, the aesthetic value away from these trees out here on the end is for this reason. I'm going to show you right here. All of your habitat depends on as far as the production of your habitat depends on what is blocking it. If that sun is being blocked in the southern sky, right? So as we stand right here, you can see behind me, this is the top of the transition right here. I fell all these trees in along the top of this, headed towards the stand that he's got in the head of that draw. So as the thermals are raising out of here on a southwest wind, this buck, whether he's cruising to the north or whether he's cruising to the south, that wind is all at the side of his head. Most folks would have done is you know, wanted to make doe bedding all the way up here to the edge, shut this off. There's no way that you're going to get them thermals and that wind to work with you if this is blocked off and that deer has to expose himself, especially in a situation like this where it's large food plot and large destination ag. So always remember that just because you are, you know, you think that you're ahead of the does, you're going to see more deer going to feed. It's not about seeing the deer. This one, you're going to be catching, you're not going to catch a lot of deer. They're all already going to be back in here. All the deer, especially the does, are going to be back off the food plots, back into this long linear doe bedding here before or right at daylight. It's that 8 to 10 movement, 10 to noon movement in here during the rut is what's going to get him in trouble on this, a buck in trouble on this creation here. So let the does come back in. To be honest with you, you know, he's got great security cover right off the end of that draw there. It dips right over, his access is right into that, so we're coming in to the head of that draw. The transition comes up here, goes around the head of that draw, comes in on that bank, and goes out there, and we got doe bedding working with us as well. So as he cruises around this whole shelf, the wind is always in his favor. We did not slam the door on him, and the biggest piece of this puzzle is when we look to the south, all of these trees now, I plugged a couple of large trees way off the end of the south just to get the canopy right and poked a hole in that. So as the sun comes up in the east, sets in the west in that southern sky, it's transferring down this whole line. So there is a few trees, one right there, that big old poplar, that should come out, and it's a log popple, and it's right here on the top of it, and he's going to cut this in about 5 years, and that's going to be an easy one to get out, and it's not going to you know, kill a lot of shade because the crown is so small on these, right? These eastern cottonwoods, or these poplar I call them here, but they're, you know, good log poplar, great 2x4 material, so he can get that one out easy without destroying everything. So always look to the southern sky, guys. That's the big thing. This one runs north and south, so instead of, you know, cutting it all the way to the field and forcing that buck when he wants to scent check, when you want him to scent check to work for you, don't slam the door in his face. Let him cruise through here. And one last thing I want to show you. Another thing, don't ever trap them in. When you get in here, we want to build these. This line of travel is going to be, he's going to mulch it out here. He's got a drum head mulcher on a skid steer, and he's going to mulch this out. You can see the orange marks up through here, but everything is fell that way. You can see as they navigate through here, it's all, you know, they can perforate it, right? I've double girdled some trees, hack and squirt some, put some on the ground. The persimmons most of them are dead, but there's one or two in here that are gonna make it. Left some of my white oaks and an odd red oak that is gonna take out during logging 5 years from now. But so this is, make sure it's perforatable. You know, they can perforate it. Make sure they can perforate it. Don't block them in and poke a hole to that southern sky, guys. So as we look back through this one now, you can see cruising down through here, stand at the head of that draw, cruising down through, hinge cut stop, bedding area stops about 50 yards, 75 yards before that stand. Transition wraps right up and around and goes back that way. This is all working for him as he's hunting that stand. Thermals are raising, wind is raising, and no matter if that buck is going north or he's going south, the wind's always at the side of his head. So third bedding area complete. And then obviously we got to come back and mulch the transition and stuff like that, but we're going through and cutting these in first.